legs are killing me. I had a crazy leg day yesterday. Went super heavy, and now my legs are done. What I want to talk about today is something that's super key to anything in life, and that is starting. If you are a business owner, if you want to play a sport, if you want to, I don't know, do anything in life, what is the most important thing? Well, it's not saving enough money to do it. It's not making sure you're the best out there before you do it. It's not making sure everything is perfectly prepared before doing it. No, that's not what the most important part is. The most important part is actually starting. This is what we're going to talk about today. I'm just going to touch on some really key points. Hopefully you guys will get some value out of it. So when I was creating Into the Swim, I was petrified. I had no idea what to do. I was lost. I've never ran a company before. I was very confused. I didn't know what to do really, or what the first step was. I did a lot of research and a lot of reading all these blogs online and all these articles and how to avoid tax fraud and how to not get sued, how to start but not fail in the first 3 months and all this stuff. And I realized what I was reading was how not to fail and not how to win. So it's a very subtle difference. Again, I was reading stuff that put me on the defensive and kind of scared me, rather than reading and focusing on the stuff that would push me forward and push me towards success. So there's a very subtle difference there. A lot of people, what they do is when they start something new, or when they go in, or even before they start, before even anyone starts anything, what a lot of people do is they try everything they can in their power not to fail, instead of going for the win, the main picture. And that's where I went wrong at first. So I was reading all this stuff that just put me in my head, scared the crap out of me, and it took me quite a little bit to start. Don't want that for you guys either. So I mean, the main thing that I focused on was, what is the most important step that I can do today that will get me to where I want to be? And that was just starting. It was very simple. I didn't know exactly what to do, but I did know the first step. What I did was read a bunch of articles that helped me how to start, and instead of reading articles like how to avoid tax fraud and how to not get sued and all this stuff. So I started focusing more on the positive instead of the negative. That kind of made me more confident to try to focus on what I need to do to get this thing going. That is the most important step, is figuring out what you need to do to get yourself starting, moving forward. I started putting up a bunch of Craigslist ads. I started posting around on Facebook, advertising what I do, my service, swim lessons, all this stuff, and I started getting some feedback from it. I started getting hit up by potential clients, people that are looking for a service that I'm doing. Long story short, it started to blow up and everything was, really good to go, and I loved it. It was awesome. It gave me more confidence to keep moving forward and forward, instead of trying to not fail and try to stay clear from all this bad things that can happen when you run a business. So a lot of people do is they just get in their heads so much about all these little things that are just not important. It's really not important until it actually happens, right? So why worry about it? And that's why it took me a while to start my company. But yeah, eventually I plowed through it, and now here I am. Another thing I want to talk about also is this whole thing about failure and how it's such a bad thing to fail. What a lot of people don't understand is failure is a part of success. You have to fail many times before you succeed. It's not always the case. Sometimes you get lucky, but a lot of people, especially the really successful people that run 6-figure businesses, multi-million-dollar businesses, even multi-billion-dollar businesses, they have to go through lots of failure. Failure is just another step towards success. This is the way I see it. Failure is not the worst thing ever. It's actually, again, it's a learning experience, and it's gonna help you learn what not to do in the future. A lot of people think it's the worst thing ever, and I'm here to tell you that I failed many times in life, but I'm still moving forward. I don't dwell on my failures. I don't dwell on my mistakes. I see my mistakes and my failures as just learning steps, and I just keep moving forward, and I just don't let that kind of stuff get into my head, because if I did that, then I wouldn't be where I am today. I'd always be on the defensive, and I wouldn't get anything done just because I would be terrified. If I let all that stuff that I did wrong and how I failed so many times in the past, if I let that get to my head now, I wouldn't be focused at all. Don't let failure get in the way. Keep moving forward. So again, I just want to touch on the main subject of this video, which is just starting. Touch on why it's important to start, why you shouldn't be afraid, setting yourself up for success instead of failure, and worrying about what's in your control and not worrying about what's not in your control. Just to review everything again, whether it is a new sport you want to try on, a new business you want to start, a friend you want to make, whatever it is, it's just starting is the most important thing. And you just got to wrap your head around not the negative sides of it, but the positive. Because the main reason why a lot of people just don't start, again, is because they're afraid of failure. They're afraid to not succeed. They're afraid that they'll get laughed at, or their parents won't approve of their idea, or their friends won't approve of their idea, or they'll lose their, I don't know, social status in the group or whatever it is. There's so many different reasons why people don't start, but I think the main reason is because of failure. You don't need a lot of money to start a business. Again, I started my business with, I think, $50 in my account. Like, I had like no money virtually, and you know, you don't need money to start a business. You really don't. That's like the biggest misconception ever, is you need all this money, you need an investment to start your company. No, you don't. I promise you don't. You just need to start. Touching on how I started again with InstaSwim was just Craigslist is like your number one key, guys. One of your number one keys, because it's free advertising. Facebook, another main component and main tool that I used when I started InstaSwim, was just advertising on Facebook. How do you hire? Again, Craigslist. You're looking to hire people, posting up gig posts on the gig section of Craigslist. Write up a quick template, put that up, boom, you're hiring. Yeah, so like Craigslist and Facebook were like my main tools I used to start like right away. Then of course, once you start getting some money, you can, you know, start using some paid advertising with Facebook and Google AdWords. Google AdWords is a little bit more complex than Facebook ads, because Google AdWords, you need to do specific targeting, and if you're not doing it the right way, you could be wasting money. Same with Facebook, but Facebook's a little bit less complex. It's a little bit easier to use, but I love both. I still use both today, and it still gets me a lot of clients. How I organize my business is, you know, just writing everything down, using my phone, you know, writing things in my schedule. Just there's so many things you can do right now that's free, that doesn't cost a dime, guys. And if you just start now, you just focus on the positive and what it can bring you. The most important step, guys, is just starting. Don't focus on the failures. Don't focus on what can go wrong. Focus on what can go right. And as long as you think positively and you think about all the things that can go right, then you're not going to be in your head and you're not going to be nervous to start. I just started, and the snowball effect, guys, it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I just kept moving forward and more forward, and everything is good to go now. I have little to no fears anymore about like what can go wrong, and everything that can just go right is all I'm focused on. Start today.